I can, yes.
Okay, Jeffrey, we're going to do a quick run through, just real quick. Nobody, you don't need to say anything yet, okay?
All right.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna start back at the beginning. And you can begin your critique, Jeffrey.
Sure. Before I start, I'm going to say what I said the last time I did one of these. Just a short little story. I think it was 2008. I had some images in a photo contest, and I had an image that ended up winning. See, best in color, best in show, and the special like Jerry Penley Award, which is like this top award. So several months later, I entered that same image in a different contest, and it wasn't even noted as an honorable mention. So the moral of the story is, every judge looks at something differently. And in that case, you could see that some judges really liked what I did and some didn't. So if I critique something, just to realize that another judge may totally look at it differently. So on this one, A Toy Headed for Trouble. So I love the title. Love the clarity of the eyes and the teeth. Trying to see here. I'd love to know if the cat actually got the toy. And there's nothing you could do about it, but the only thing that felt a little bit funny was that back left leg sort of looked disconnected. That has really nothing to do with it. But I just thought it was a whole lot of fun image, and I'm not sure I'd want to play toys with a cat that large. I guess you can go to the next one.
Oh, is this one in or out?
Not held.
Or not held. That's what I mean. Okay. The next one is Catch Me If You Can.
Again, great title. On this one, I guess my critique of this would be, if you look at the front animal, you can clearly see the eyes. And if you look at the, not sure what that is, chasing a tiger, leopard, I don't know. But the eyes are totally black. Now, again, you can't always control those kinds of things. But I tried zooming in just to see, and it's, they're totally black. Plus, and again, it's not something you can control a whole lot, but it's extremely noisy. Fun image. Love the composition where you've got, the animal in the back chasing diagonally across the screen to the animal in the front. Not held.
Okay. Crane Flyby.
Yeah, this one I thought was quite good. Trying to think. One thing that's really hard to do is to get every bird flying quite often when this is happening, you have some bird that looks like totally out of whack. You can see every bird's face. And I do like how they're flying from right to left, and there's space, more space on the left side of the screen than the right, or the image than the right. So it's kind of giving them room to fly. The only thing that might be interesting to see how it looked would be that real bright line at the bottom, to see about toning that down or maybe even cropping it out. But definitely excellent image, and I would like to hold that one.
Okay. Driven to Win.
Yeah, I just think it's a fun image. What's a couple parts I think I really liked, especially on the right side of the stands are the people with their cameras. But it's kind of funny. It's most of them are just holding them. There's one fellow on the right that is actually taking a picture, which was kind of neat. And I really like the horse on the left. Just kind of, you can just sort of see it coming around the corner. You definitely have a feeling of speed. And I don't know if you can see it because I was zooming in a lot of these just to look at a little closer. The one part that I thought was a bit distracting was up in the stands, top sort of left. I'm not sure what they're wearing, but it's really, really shiny and bright. And I need a pointer.
Can you direct me?
Actually, if you can, just go a little bit closer. And you can stop there. So on the left side of the screen, if you see there's a row of people with dark blue shirts, then there's a guy with like a maroon ascot or something, then bright orange, then green. Right above him, there's a really bright thing that's kind of like masking some people. And then just further to the right, you'll see like 4 or 5 real bright areas. I mean, that I just found just a little bit distracting. But fun image. I mean, you definitely are showing the speed. You can see the dirt coming up off the hooves. Really a lot of fun. This one I am not holding.
Okay. The next one is called Fast Track.
It's definitely shows speed. Tell you what, if you can zoom into the front of the train, if you see that tree, so there's a tree branch that's coming out over if you can zoom back in. So there. Oops. So it actually looks like the train's driving into the tree branches. I understand why it's doing that. But for me, it was just a little disconcerting because it looks like the train's running into the tree. And I realized the tree was there. The tree was photographed before the train got there. And then the train's now moving through the scene, and it's an optical illusion. And then the other, so if you can go out. Really, that's probably the only critique. I really like the movement. You can see quite a bit of the train going back into the distance, as well as the engine moving through the scene. But that was the only thing I just found a little disconcerting, was it looked like it was running into the tree. Not holding this one.
Okay, the next one is called Fly Out of Here.
And kind of like I was saying on the first bird image, if you look through at each of these individual birds, you can pretty much see the bird and the head, or at least a portion of the head. And as far as any kind of negative critique, Um, I love the waterfall in the background, but at the same time, it's the waterfall comes down and it kind of bends around. It ends up being much brighter. So your eyes kind of led to your eyes are being led to the waterfall, and then the water coming downstream a bit, versus really looking at the birds as much because your eyes are drawn to the brightest spot in the screen. But again, I mean, it's really hard to get an image with all those birds not looking goofy. Not holding it.
Okay, the next one is fun running in a tunnel.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, you just had this feeling. I mean, you could feel those kids just running through the tunnel and almost a feeling of joy. The only thing that I didn't see it at first, but if you zoom in on the right-hand girl, her right hand. So if you see that, whoops.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that's it. So if you see her right hand, it almost looks like she's three-fingered. And she's probably just got one of the fingers bent as she's running. But that one, I kept seeing the three fingers, but, excellent image. You really get that feeling of joy, and I'd like to hold this one.
Okay. Next one is called High Speed Slide.
I absolutely love the kid's face, and that feeling of motion. So the eyes are clear. Looks like he's having a blast. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the technique that was used to create that kind of motion. I don't know if it was done digitally or if somebody pulled their zoom lens back, but just a fun image. Really clever. I'm not holding this one.
Okay. I feel a need for speed.
No, just a fun image, good title. I like that you can see the smoke coming off the sides, and you can see the blast of the engines, the golden glow coming out the back end. Really like the composition of it. Don't really have anything else to add. I am not holding it.
Okay. I'll get the next one.
I'm sorry?
It's called I'll Get the Next One.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Definitely the feeling of speed. I like how the capture has the two doors on the left and then the window on the right. And you can see at least one of the people in there who looks to be sound asleep. Having traveled a lot on different train systems or metro things, going back and forth from central Pennsylvania, New York City, I understand the falling asleep part. But just, definitely a neat image. And you can't do it, but part of me wants to see more about what those people are doing inside, but you can't do that with the train blowing through. But it was good that we, can definitely see that one person is in there out cold. So just a fun image. Not holding.
Okay, next one is called Liftoff.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun. So you can just see where the water was splashing and that she's starting to head into the air. It definitely makes me want to know more about the story. What else was happening? Good composition, lots of action, and would like to hold this one.
Okay. Next one is near miss.
That's the question. Was it really a near miss? It looks like trouble. No, it's kind of fun. The only critique I would have, if you zoom in on either of their faces, you really, they're kind of out of focus and a little hard to see. That's really my only real critique of that. But what a fun image. Not holding it.
Okay. On schedule.
You definitely have that feeling of speed. I like how the artistry was shown. I guess I wasn't sure if the train leaning to the right was on purpose or not. But it definitely connotes speed. Not holding.
Okay. Oz.
Yeah, I think what's kind of fun about this is that you've got the multiple highways, entrance / exit ramps. So it's not just one, but there's really 4, and maybe another one sliding in there. So on the right side, of course, you've got the taillights. On the left side, what's kind of interesting about it is that you've got multiple colors. It's just not, streaks of white light. So you've got some blues and reds and stuff mixed in. Well composed. Could you do me a favor and just zoom into the sky above the skyscrapers? Okay, that was the only thing I could see was those lines across, which can sometimes happen when you're trying to bring more light into the scene. It'll sometimes have those artifacts, but that was it. Nice shot, and not holding.
Okay. Ride 'em cowgirl.
Yeah, just definitely fun image. I like on the back right leg where you can see the dirt flying up. Lots of action. It is kind of neat, I think, where her face and the rope are both in focus, so you can see what she's up to. If you can zoom in on the back of the horse, it just seemed like maybe when an anti-noise program was applied, maybe a little too much was used because it's very, very smooth, or the horse could be smooth. But I just think it's a really nice image, and I would like to hold that one.
Okay.
Oh, also, before you move on, also horses moving left to right. Again, as I said earlier, you've got more room in the front for the horse to move into, which I think, while it's not a hard and fast rule, it's a good rule of thumb to when an animal's running and going that direction, to leave a little bit more room on the side that the horses or the animals going into. So very nice. And again, want to hold it.
Okay. The next one is called Speeding in San Miguel.
I think what's fun about that is you've got the two roads, one on the left, one on the right. No one's going down the left, so that's kind of fun. The only thing that bothered me a little bit is if you zoom in pretty much on any of the signs, it's all out of focus. That's the only thing I was struggling with a bit. Yeah, it could be. I think the E on the left is, I think, in focus. I can't recall. You zoom in on that. No, that's a little bit out of focus too. So that was the only thing that was bothering me a bit. I love the concept. I'd love to see the vehicles, because you got the red. I mean, you see the white car that's going, and it almost looks like, green and red smokes coming out of the back. But I'd love to see those cars too, or that would be more the story. But fun image. That's the only thing. It just seemed like, with all the signs out of focus, I just found it a bit distracting. Not holding.
Okay, spring sunset.
I love the time of day, composition, the pathway, the road leading from the lower right up through. So it definitely takes your eye. Your eye follows that path. So your eye's kind of following around. You've got the trees almost framed by it, as well as the sky and the right side of the image. Could you zoom in on the trees for me? Yeah, it just seemed like it was just a bit noisy in there. And I'm assuming for speed, it meant you were going real slow because you were just sitting back and enjoying the day. Not holding.
Okay. Stay the course.
What I really liked is you've got that, you can feel that wind on that front sail, just blowing, as well as, you can see the wind, the sail seems to be, pulling a little bit to the right, and the boat's kind of leaning to the right. And if you have a love of speed, I think you'd want to be sitting on that boat, going right along. It looks like, it really should be in the lead. I'm not sure if it's a race or not, but it really feels like you can feel that motion. Clouds are great. I love the placement of the horizon line. So just an overall nice image. Not holding it though.
Okay. Take off.
Take off. I just thought it was a whole lot of fun. I think I've said that before. What I like about it is it's kind of hard to do with airplane propellers. If you use too fast a shutter speed, they're frozen, and if you use too little, they're just a pure blur. And in this case, you can see that motion of the propellers turning. I love that you can see the pilot, intensely looking forward. So he's in focus, plane's in focus. Very nice. So I would like to hold that one.
Okay. Touched by an angel.
I don't know how they do that stuff. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. I think I really like the placement on the image of where the planes are. You can see the lower number 5 plane, the lower part of that back wing. You can see the smoke coming out, so you can see that it's moving. The only negative, if you zoom in on those for me, you'll see a lot of digital noise. So that I just found a bit distracting when I was going through it. But fun image, but don't want to hold it.
Okay. Wing speed.
Excellent image. You definitely know what the hummingbird's after. Excellent image, and would like to hold it.
Okay. Whoosh.
Waterfalls are tricky to do. It's like if you use too fast a shutter speed, they look unnatural and they look frozen. If you use too slow, it looks like marshmallows. And I think the photographer just got it just right. You've got that mixture of feeling that motion, that flow. Plus, I really like you've got the crashing of the waters on the top right, and then you're going down through the screen to the lower left. The top right, you see the blue in the water. The bottom left, you see the blue in the water, and then the waterfalls flowing in. Just excellent image, and would like to hold that one.
Okay, and that's it for the color. So I'm going to move into. Oops, sorry. Hang on. I'm going to move into the black and white.
And you're going to go through them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's it. So we'll go back to the critique. Just almost there.
Yeah, I really like how they really look like they were buddies talking with each other. They may not have been. I mean, they may have been just trying to beat each other to the finish line. But it almost felt like these two guys are riding more for the joy than the race. Really enjoyed how crisp and clear their faces and the bikes were. Just overall good image, but I'm not holding it.
Okay. Alone in the Underground.
Really, really nice composition. You've got the chairs that are really shiny, and then the dark area on the back behind them that sort of holds the image in place, kind of. Then on the right, that blur is the train going by and disappearing, either coming out of or disappearing into the tunnel. Really good composition. Not holding it, but excellent image.
Catch Me If You Can.
It does make you smile. You see those two carrying on. Nice, I think, freezing of motion. You've got a little bit of motion, but it's also clear. If you could zoom in on the dog's face on the back left, at the left-hand dog, that was the only thing I found a little distracting, was the amount of digital color noise. You got that blue and the orange and stuff under the left eye. And a bit around the white tag, the color around that. But and you kind of see some in the fur, but it's not bad at all. But that was the only thing I would say might be something to take a look at with it on image. Not holding it.
Okay, Chase.
This one, for some reason, when I see something like this, it always reminds me of me attempting to get a picture of a fox jumping up in the air and diving that I've never gotten yet. But I love the concept. My only criticism would be if you zoom in on the animal, it's surely out of focus. And I know that denotes speed, but that just bothered me a bit. That it wasn't a little bit more clear. Not holding.
Okay. Get Out of Town Fast.
I thought it was just clever. I mean, I photographed trains, so I just picture the photographer standing on the caboose, making this shot. You can see feel the motion on the right and left side, as well as, the kind of the blur at the tracks. Your eye can follow the tracks out into the distance. Almost appears like, it would go to the mountains or near the mountains in the back. Very nice composition, but not holding it.
Get it out.
Yeah, this one I just thought was really good. That you can see the ball, you can see the bat make contact with the ball, and the ball is just leaving the bat. It's, you can see the catchers, they're ready to catch the ball, that didn't get it to them. The umpires, really looking close, waiting to call the balls and strikes. Excellent image, and would like to hold it.
Okay. I'll be home soon.
For this one, to me, you can just feel the emotion. I mean, it's just palpable where, the little girl's looking, and, there's speeding by. I just, the placement of her and her reflection and where her elbow is just excellent. Super image, and want to hold it.
Okay. In awe.
What's funny, when I first saw that, I saw the waterfalls, and then I saw the person. And the image wouldn't be much fun at all without that person. And the other thing I really kind of like, at first I wasn't sure, but I really like the rock on the right side. I think it kind of stabilizes the whole image. Gives you that feel that you really are down. Not only are the falls coming down, but, that she had to have, or he, I can't tell, had to have gotten down there to this. Super image, and would like to hold it.
Okay. Jazz lady at the high.
I mean, I think it's just very well done. You can almost just feel the music coming out. I love her placement in the image. And to me, I can just about hear the music playing. So just an excellent image, and would like to hold it.
Jet stream.
Having photographed there, one of the things that's so important, one of the reasons, like so many pictures you see of the Grand Canyon and other places, they never show the depth. It just looks like, well, that's just this, place. And the way you show the depth on something like this is you have the rocks at your feet. So you want to show some of where you're standing or near where you're standing. And by doing that, I can guarantee if that wasn't there, it wouldn't have the depth it does. So it's a very good composition. I actually really like, a lot of times you don't want to center stuff. I love how that, the piece, the formation is centered in the middle. You can just feel them kind of racing around. So it's just very well done, but I don't want to hold.
Little cabin.
Yeah, I do like how it really, you can really feel the size of the trees by having that cabin there. I was struggling a bit with the speed, other than you just want to be, kicking back on a lazy weekend. I do like the placement of that also, of the little building, and how the sun's hitting the front of that. So it really draws your eye to that. So you see the little cabin or the little building first, then you start to explore the image. So, but don't want to hold it.
Near miss.
Just very fun composition. Having the structure on the right, lower right, and the bird coming up toward the upper left is just really good. and really have no criticisms of it. It's well done, but I don't want to hold it. This category was tough because there's so many good images in it. It's like you're, anyway, go ahead.
Passing through.
Love the composition. My only, very much so. My only criticism, and I know you need speed, is it's if you zoom in on the bike rider, to me, it's just a little bit too out of focus. But I know it's a fine line between showing speed and freezing action. But really, really good composition. Don't want to hold it.
Practicing at Stone Mountain.
This one, to me, really does feel like that person's, practicing for a big race. You can see the concentration level. You can almost feel, the motion of the legs going. Lots of room on the left side of the image for the biker to race into. Very well done, and would like to hold it.
Regatta judge.
Love. I guess there's a couple different elements in it. You've got the boat in the foreground, with the wake kicking up behind it. And it's almost like you've got the next level of the image going up, where you've got the line of boats moving through, and then the next line up you've got the kind of almost moody kind of clouds. So I just think it's a very nice composition, no criticisms, but don't want to hold it.
A runner's high.
I just think it's a super image. The silhouette there, the fencing, just, it's really funny. You have a little steeple on the right, which is just kind of cute. And even though it's a tiny, tiny element, that little steeple, I actually think it helps add something to it. It almost feels like they're racing along the top of, a bridge or something. Super image, and would like to hold it.
Slower times.
It's fine. When I first saw this image, when it popped up, I'm looking at the Spencerville Bridge and I'm thinking, what does that have to do with speed? And my eye went to the right. I'm like, oh my gosh, speed limit 15. Just what a super composition. What's really funny, your eye, well, first of all, the rail, guardrail on the right leads you right into the bridge. I really like how it was, that the Spencervilles just stands out so much. Your eyes drawn there first, and then you notice that speed limit sign. So just really excellent composition, and loved it, and would like to hold it.
Okay. Staying focused.
Yeah, I've watched practice runs of the kayak races, and that really captures the emotion and I think the challenge of doing it. My only criticism would be if you zoom in on the waves, you'll see just a ton of digital noise, and it kind of goes across the front of the kayak and up kind of the side a little bit. And I'm sure it's probably where the water is. That's really my only criticism. It's composition is really excellent. You can just see the concentration, and you feel like you can see where he's come from and where he's going to. Not holding it.
True grit.
This is, you can, I just think you can feel the rider going around the bend. You can see the mud and stuff just sticking to his pants, his clothing, the front of the bike, the dirt and stuff, spraying out. Very well done, but don't want to hold it.
And that's it. That's all.
Okay.
Daryl? Okay.
Take it away, Michelle.
The winners are, for color, honorable mention, The Fun Running in a Tunnel.
By Jen Cardinal.
Oops. How do I get out of here? Hang on. Okay. Honorable mention also to Ride 'em Cowgirl.
And I believe,
That's me.
yeah, but I don't.
Sorry, I didn't say. Yeah.
Mike Schaefer.
Schaefer.
We're not seeing the full picture, by the way, but
Yeah, if you double click on it, maybe you'll see the whole
yeah,
thing.
just double click on it. Yeah. But anyway,
Still not? You still aren't?
no, I'm just seeing the
No, we just see
the tiles.
thumbnail.
I'm just seeing the tiles.
Now can you see it?
No,
No,
I'm just seeing the tiles.
All right. Let me stop sharing for a minute. Okay.
That's all right. But anyway, you guys seen some of this stuff before.
Yeah.
This is a pan. It's in camera pan, and when you pan, you generally want to shoot at about 1/30th of a second as a start point. Then you work up or down 1/60th, 1/15th, 1/8th, what have you. Pretty sure this was shot at 1/30th. And that's all I did. They just go by and you pan and you hope and you start panning. As soon as right before the object that you're panning hits, right before they hit perpendicular to the camera, you rip it on continuous. And you hope you get a shot. And most of the time you won't get one, but sometimes you'll get one. So that's what this is.
Wyoming.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's been it was a very lucrative photo shoot. It was a good time, and it came out very well. And you at least want the main subject to be sharp, fairly sharp, not real sharp, but just fairly sharp when you pan. So that's how you pan. This is in camera. It's not photoshopped or anything.
And maybe.
Can y'all see?
Maybe,
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay.
yeah, we see. Is the rump so shiny because the horse simply has a shiny rump?
I don't know. I don't know. That's just the way it came out.
Jeffrey mentioned about whether
I just wasn't sure if it was a noise program that made it
No.
smooth, or could it just been in the camera how it came out?
No, this is pretty much out of the camera. I didn't, there's not much. If anything, I softened the colors a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not fond of saturated colors unless there's reason to have one and have that. And I prefer, this is a very in camera, if you will, kind of shot. So.
Okay.
And did you want to say
Michelle,
something about?
also known as Ms. Saturated Colors. I was going to ask you to show this one. Yep, there it is.
Jen, did
Jennifer.
you want to say something about your honorable mention?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, these are my granddaughters. They were just having a blast running through the tunnels in Central Park. And it was a bit of a challenge because there were a bunch of people coming down the steps, and there were a bunch of people back there. So I had to get rid of that. But once they were gone, it was a pretty cute picture. They were.
Yeah, I loved it, and just that right hand just distracted me. I love the image though. It's just so good.
Actually, it's her left hand because she's running
Her left,
towards
but on your
right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be her. Well, no, her right hand. I think they're running away from you.
I thought they were running toward. Let's hear it.
They're running toward. Yeah.
Are they? Okay, then her left.
Yeah. Yeah. She has all her fingers.
I know, but it's just for whatever reason, it was just like I kept seeing it, and I'm like, no, because
you get it.
it is so good. I mean, that's just man.
Thank you.
The visual analog of an earworm. Once you see it, you can't get it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready for third place?
Yep.
Third place is Whoosh, Steve Director.
Steve Director, and this has to be Iceland. Having been there 3 weeks ago, I can tell. I love that diagonal there,
Mm-hmm.
and the colors. Wow.
It's kind of fun that you've got the color in the low left and the color in the upper right. Yeah, it's just
That's really great.
Place is Crane Flyby, Daryl Neal.
That is me at Bosque del Apache in New Mexico, where if you're into photographing birds, is bird heaven. And it is amazing that they all came out.
yes, it is. Having
grabbed
done it,
them
yes,
all.
I understand.
I don't know how I did that, but it did.
And first place, Wing Speed by Steve Director.
Yeah, when we were going over this, when we were away from the room, I said, drat, I had the Helmerberg picture and I didn't put it in. So, yep.
Now the color of the flowers
Moves
and
so
the
fast.
composition was just really good.
Everything's sharp too.
You ready for my
Steve's gotten 2 ribbons in the color. Woo.
Yeah. Mono. Honorable mention. In awe, Steve Director.
I can tell you that's Iceland. I have the same photo. He's just cropped his.
Did you go with him?
No, he went on a photography trip. I went on a tour. But when you go to Iceland, you tend to go to the same waterfalls.
Yeah. Third place, I'll Be Home Soon
Bye.
by Mike Schaefer.
All right, Mike.
I was go ahead.
ahead.
I just want to say that I was saying when we were in there, our break there, that especially first, second, and third. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I went over them today, and every time I come up with a different first, second, and third. So any of those could easily be first place. It just, I ended up in this order, but such a fantastic photo.
Yeah, this was taken on film on an ice train in Germany, probably early 2000. And I've always liked it. And, I was, when you travel by yourself, you meet more people, you get better shots of people, especially versus in a group. And so I was chatting with this German family and they were very friendly. And she was sitting there just looking out the window. If I recall, they lived in Hamburg. I think that's right. And we were on the ice train and she was looking in the mirror and I started to take her picture and she smiled at me. I said, no, go back to what you were doing. And then she just kind of went back to what she was doing and I popped it. And so with the help of Topaz and getting rid of the noise from the slide and a little sharpening in Topaz, it finally came out the way I thought it should come out. So
It really looks great.
yeah,
And you see the reflection and also you see images, bits of the outside world.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's it's when you work with slides and you finally get the tools to bring them to life to a level that you're good with. But the film, strangely enough, when you did it, one of my objectives is a film, since it was originally taken on slide film, I think it was Fuji 200, yeah. It makes the skin tone soft, and you don't want to over sharpen and over clarity, so you just leave it nice and soft, and that's the way it came out. So it came out well.
Incidentally, Adobe is about to release for Photoshop automatic fixing restoration of ancient photos.
Huh.
I have entire books on how you go about restoring old, faded, cracked photos. Now they're going to make it one click.
That'll be interesting to see.
It'll be interesting to see if it's any good.
Yeah, because I do talks on like the history of photography and that kind of stuff, and I'd be really so I've got a whole pile of stuff from like Civil War and all that stuff. It'd be really interesting to see how it does. I'd like feed it in, just see what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all those people that make a living doing that,
Yeah.
charging hundreds of dollars, are out of business now.
So we'll see.
Okay, next. Second place.
Second place, Runner's High by Michelle Simmons. And
Now, when we were away, I said, Michelle, hasn't that thing won a previous ribbon? And Michelle said it was a different photo.
It was a different photo, and if you saw them side by side, you could really see the differences. Nevertheless, this was in a kind of different location.
It's similar, but it is different. It's a good shot.
He wasn't,
Great shot. Love it.
thank you. He wasn't actually running. He jumped. He's a dancer, and he jumped for this shot.
Oh.
That's super.
And first place.
Slower times by Mike Schaefer.
Look at that.
Great.
Well, you've seen those. You've seen some of you have seen this barn before. This is taken in Indiana, in Amish country, north of Fort Wayne, Indiana, near where my cousin lives. And you know, you've seen the covered bridge before, and this is a different version of it. And this is, you know, I was thinking the theme was speed, and of course you always think fast all the time. You know, then I thought, wait a minute. I know I've got a shot of this bridge, and I remember that speed limit sign being 15 because, of course, the Amish would take their buggies over it, and you don't want cars going over too fast. But I thought, well, this came to me at the last minute as that would fit the theme, and I remember that old speed limit sign, and I was very happy with this. I appreciate Jeffrey's comments on it. I'm surprised it got a first, but I'm very it's. Believe it or not, you can get great photography even in Indiana. That's what I'm getting at.
And I probably said it, you know, during the session, but just, you know, I was looking at that and I turned my head to the right and saw the speed limit. I just laughed out loud. I mean, that was so clever. So well done.
I appreciate that.
Jeffrey interpreted it exactly the way you thought, which was
Pretty much. And the challenge, yeah.
but not speedy.
And like I said, you don't think, when you think of a speed, you think of fast, and then I thought the opposite. And Indiana's got lots of covered bridges up in that area, and they're beautiful. And I'm going to be going up there again in July and looking for more opportunities. But the trick for me in processing this, which I didn't do much, I cleaned up the road a little bit. You get some pebbles in there, is I didn't want the speed limit sign to be too obvious. I wanted it to be subtle. And you're right, that was the intent, because the temptation is to over sharpen and over push the speed limit. But, you know, I wanted it to be subtle. It's up front, it's to the right. People will get it if they just look at it. So it panned out. So.
Well,
Hey.
congratulations to everyone.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Thanks for running it,
Appreciate
Michelle.
your time
Oh, you're welcome.
and your sage advice, and I'm glad you had a hard time deciding.
That was brutal. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Thanks,
Yes.
Michelle.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Sure, Al. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
let us
for
know
asking.
when you get back again, and we want to. We'll go shoot a little bit.
I would
shoot
love
something.
that. Absolutely love that.
That old car place. Did you go to the old car place with me?
I went to the old car place, and then there was another spot that had older buildings. That was an organization ran it.
That was farm. The car.
So I was playing there with my infrared stuff.
Ah, yeah. That was oh crap. Susan.
It's not Simpson's farm, was it?
No. Simpson's farm, actually, I was going to tell you, is now closed. Apparently, the guy that did all the car stuff died. So that place is no longer available to photograph. But oh my God, I can't. This is a friend of mine. The farm we went to.